Alright, hello YouTube, welcome back to the Grease Comedy YouTube channel. Today's video will continue on with our 25 days of Winds of Winter. Today's video is going to be everyone's favorite character, mine included. You guys know this. Bran. I can't really say that one with a straight face. But Bran, we're going to talk about where I think he's going to go in Winds of Winter, and a little bit into Dream of Spring as well. Let me know what you guys think. I think Bran is one of the characters I am the least educated on, just because I just don't like Bran very much. So let me know what you guys think. What do you guys theorize for Bran? What is he going to do? Is he going to end up king like he does in the show, or does he have a different fate? So before we get into the video, if you guys like to like, subscribe, and comment, please do. It helps channel grow. Your people that might like this content as well. And let's get into it. So Bran at this point, the last time we kind of see Bran is he's taken this paste. Now I have said that this is Jojen paste. Now, what that means is basically Jojen has been mashed up into this paste, and it's been used as some sort of blood ritual to awaken Bran's powers. I have a whole nother video on that if you guys want to check that out, on my reasoning for why I think that's a thing. But to understand where I'm going to come from, we have to start with that. So, Bran, I think, is going to be on a journey in Winds of Winter where his powers are going to be awakened. He's going to become stronger and stronger as the Three-Eyed Crow are growing into that role. He's going to be learning more information. And similar to how I think the show went with Bran's character is how I think they'll go with Bran's character, or George will go with Bran's character in the book, where I think they handled Bran's character decently well when you look at the general outline of Bran's character, where I think for the most part, the show got it right. What I think we see from Bran is we get visions. We get Bran learning to control his powers and his struggles with that. And I think what has to happen by the end of this book, or I don't even think the end of it, I think the midpoint of this book is that Bran is going to have to be forced south. He can't stay in the north forever. He's going to have to take these powers and use them for the benefit of the living. So I think what we see is, one way or another, the others find the cave that Bran is in, and that he just gets forced out. Whether that's with Cold Hands having to help him get south, and using his powers to tell people like that are in charge at this point, like Stannis, Jon, the others are coming, and we don't have much time left. And I think this is also going to be mixed in with the idea that when Bran finally reaches Stannis and Jon to tell them this, they find that the wall has already been broken because of the Horn of Winter that we see Euron blowing. So a lot of things are going to culminate when Bran comes south. So where I think Bran, his role here will be, in this book specifically, will be to inform our characters what is going on and to tell them and give them an exact point of when the others will get here. That will be his role, I think, in Winds of Winter, outside of learning information and also being a character that will help in the revealing of Jon's parentage that we will probably see by the end of Winds of Winter, if not the beginning of Dream of Spring. So I think that is something Bran will be heavily focused in on in Winds of Winter. I don't think Bran is this major character within Winds of Winter. I think he is a character that will definitely be a major character in something like a Dream of Spring. Now, what I think was interesting, will Bran continue being a POV? I don't think Bran can be a POV after maybe the midpoint of Winds of Winter, because it doesn't make any sense. It's the reason we never get Littlefinger or Varys stuff is because Bran is going to have all of this information that he's learning and he's having to kind of take in. Bran as a POV fundamentally will not work, because I think George will have Bran become king, and being inside of Bran's head is going to destroy kind of that payoff, I guess, of, oh, the children of the forest take over, the old gods take over. I don't think Bran can be a POV. So that's the thing I want to note, that Bran, I think fundamentally, Winds of Winter will be his last book as a POV. And that's not because he's going to die or anything. I think that's just because it doesn't really make a lot of sense for him to be a POV. Now, as we move into Dream of Spring, because I think Winds of Winter, again, a lot of his role, like I said, is going to be on information, learning, and growing as a character. I think Dream of Spring is where we see a little bit more of his action, where he's influencing events and building toward this idea that he eventually will become king. And I think it's going to be a very interesting discussion, because the thing that I always thought was very interesting about the TV show and the way they went with Bran is that when you think about what Bran does, right, he doesn't do anything. It's very counterproductive to what we thought we were going to see with Bran, and I don't think George is going to go that route. I think George is going to have Bran do things that are a little bit questionable. Like in the moment, right? When we're going through maybe the battle with the White Walkers or this, or what information Bran decides to let everyone know, it'll be a little bit questionable. And then when we get to the end of the story, when Bran becomes king, we kind of can piece it all together that Bran was withholding this information because he knew he was going to become king, and that he wanted all of these events to happen in a way that led to that happening. So I think the way this is going to happen, and I think another thing that's crucial to talk about, Bran will become less and less of Bran as time goes on. He will be consumed by other people who are the three-eyed crow, taking over his consciousness, and the old gods taking over his body, where Bran is really just a vessel of the old gods, where it's just his body almost to the point of the end of the story. And I think this is a very compelling character arc for Bran, because contrary to the show, where it just felt like it was out of left field, I feel like in the book, if you do it right with Bran, where he's manipulating events, but in the moment, it doesn't feel like that. And when we get to the end of the story, when we realize everything that's happened because maybe of something Bran tells Jon or this or that, maybe that's why he does it. Something like Jon's parentage, right? Bran could be bringing that up specifically to create issues between Daenerys and Jon, and to kind of cause somewhat of a civil war. And then he knows, so Bran knows that Jon does not want to become king. It could be all these interesting ideas that you can play on with Bran, where Bran could become a very interesting character very quickly over these next two books. And again, we are not going to have Bran POVs, in my opinion, when we get further into the story. So we're not going to know why Bran is saying these things. It's something we're going to have to figure out. So if we look at Littlefinger, right, let's do a direct comparison. Littlefinger is someone that, as we've talked about with the Purple Wedding, he doesn't distinctively say, oh yeah, Olenna kills Joffrey, or he helps Olenna kill Joffrey. He lets Sansa come to that conclusion, or maybe leads her in that direction, and then once she says it, he's all like, yeah, that's exactly what happened. It's one of those things where we don't know if that is truthful, if that is what Littlefinger said, or if that is what Littlefinger did, or he's just saying that to say that. That's something we'll have to look at with Bran in the future that I think makes his character very intriguing going forward. So that is really all I wanted to talk about with Bran in today's video. I think he's a very intriguing character going forward, and he's going to have a lot to build on. I kind of hope George actually does go with Bran becoming king, but just in a way that makes it really interesting and kind of a sour ending to the story, where, yes, we defeat all of our problems, but we elect a king that, is this really the person that should be ruling? It almost seems like something that went full circle, where the old gods and the old ways finally took power. So thank you guys all for watching the video. Let me know what you guys thought about the concepts I presented in this video, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye, guys.